I spent my first 4 years lifting without ever training with the proper intensity. I'd go to the gym, but I would never really train that hard. And it wasn't until I started watching videos of old bodybuilders like Tom Platz and Mike Mentzer, where basically their entire thing was telling you just how much you sucked and just how much you failed at training, and that you had to push yourself to the absolute limits. And if you weren't training hard enough. And that's where it clicked for me. It's like I needed to hear that. I needed to hear someone tell me that I'm not working hard enough or that I'm not pushing hard enough in the gym, but this also applies to everything else in life and motivation. But hearing someone else tell me, that someone that I aspired to be like, that I wasn't working hard enough, just set off something in my brain and in my mind that instantly made me want to go and just be super disciplined and train as hard as I can, bring as much intensity as I could when I went to the gym. So what this made me realize is that most men are motivated completely differently than most women are. So when you look at motivation for women, what does it usually consist of? It consists of like self-love, stuff like you deserve this, you've earned this, motivational things that tell them like they're loved and they're worthy. And there's nothing wrong with that, of course, but it's just very different because that doesn't work for men for the most part. What do men get motivated by? At least most men get motivated by exactly what worked for me. Like I said, I spent so much years in the gym, but I was kind of just dicking around and I actually wasn't training hard enough. And so when I heard something that went against my own brain status quo, it's like, they're right. They're right. Like I wasn't training hard enough and I didn't build, I wasted so much time not building all the muscle I wanted that I built in half a year. This past year I spent bulking and I've built the most muscle in my life because like I said, I started 4 years ago and this is like year 5 of this past year when I was bulking and I was lifting. And I actually started lifting and learning how to lift with the proper intensity going all the way to failure. And it wouldn't have been possible if I just hadn't heard, like I said, videos like Tom Platz. Just if you ever seen a Tom Platz workout video, he's literally yelling at the other guy, just getting him just to motivate him. And that just never really works for most women. Like it's kind of correlated with like testosterone and masculine energy, like those videos, especially like edits where you'll see just guys just like screaming at each other. And like to the outsider, it seems like, why are these people screaming at each other? How could this be motivating? But there's something that goes on in the man's mind, just like criticism and hearing how much they suck, that just kind of like flips a switch in most people's head. It's really weird, but it's natural. And that's why people like David Goggins just blew up. Because when you watch a David Goggins video, what does he say? He's usually talking about like how much you suck and how much he used to suck, and that kind of is like embracing the suck together. And that's how David Goggins got really popular, because people are like, wow, I am nothing compared to him. And it's just so weird that this comparison for men is what motivates most men. And the reason I wanted to look at this and discuss this was because I wanted to get this from a leadership perspective. If you're a leader of a mostly male organization, like a sports team or like some form of business or anything in that nature where it's just a mostly men, what usually works for motivation, at least for the strong guys that will still keep in there and actually work for this, what usually gets them is tough love. If you play a sport in like school or in high school or whatever in general, how often do you really have coaches that would yell at you but out of like love, and they'd tell you like, we're doing this out of love and stuff like that? And at first when it happens, it's like, this guy's kind of an asshole, but after a while you start to appreciate it and you start to respect it, and it motivates you more. And so that's why leaders need to understand the roles of gender in their organization, because a team of all male athletes are not going to respond as well to like motivation that's more designed for women, like self-love and telling them that they're worthy and loved. Like obviously that's not bad and that's true, but it's just not as effective as getting, like, the purpose of it is to motivate people and to make them feel better, and sometimes it doesn't always work, or at least it doesn't work nearly as effective as tough love. If you found this video interesting and you're interested in developing your masculine leadership, click the link below in the description. It will take you to our online community where we help young men develop their masculine leadership.